There's that old familiar school bell, and every great school has a great fight song, and I choose to use the University of Idaho's fight song. Say it with me, say it loud, say it proud. I-D-A-H-O. Idaho, Idaho. Go, go, go. That's right, this is an inspirational, exceptional, motivational episode of Connecting My Life. I'm your host, Paul Everts. You can reach me at my email address, and I wish you would. It's BAMD2. Together, band together, Comcast.net. Also visit our handsome website, which will be up for another 2 weeks, and then we're going to take it down and attempt to redo it and add some things and delete some things from it. But go to it right now. It is conductingmylife.com, where you'll see I'm a speaker, trainer, coach, also an author, and just see what I can do for you. If you're looking for someone that wants to come out and do some leadership training, I can do that for you. I love to do that for you, actually. So today I'm recording this at nighttime, believe it or not. It is 8:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 14th of August, 2025. And so what is tonight's theme? I don't know. I'm just going to talk. It's going to be verbal processing. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. It's going to be, we're going to go about 20 minutes long. Yeah, not about. We will end within 20 minutes. But yesterday was the 13th of August, and I started my 36th year teaching, and I don't know, 36 years sounds like a long time. So my first day of teaching, I like to say it's July 3rd, 1989. That's the first day I started teaching high school band. My first time teaching was at Branciforte Elementary School, Natural Bridges Elementary School, and Bayview Elementary School in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And I started that January 1989. So the 20th century. Taught elementary school. It was really cool. The gentleman I took over for, Hayden Dryden, unfortunately had a heart attack. He lived, but he needed to retire. So I came 23 years old, newly 23, because I turned 23 January 6th, 1989, and it was a good job. It was a really great job. I learned a lot, obviously, but then all of a sudden, my future mother-in-law was diagnosed with brain cancer. That was February of 89, and I got engaged to Diana March of 89. And I thought then all of a sudden I got a phone call, March of 89, from Tara. And Tara Simone Cheech, who's now a fantastic conductor for, I would say ballet operas, and she's just such a great young lady. She actually called me and she said, "Mr. Everts, Mr. Tevis is leaving. Would you please apply for the job at Tokay High School in Lodi?" And that's why I did my student teaching. She didn't say Tokay High School, Lodi. But anyway, so that's where I did my student teaching, and I thought, I'm living in beautiful Carmel, commuting to Santa Cruz. Do I want to go back up to Lodi? Well, with my newly fiancé, who was going to school at University of Pacific, I thought, well, this is going to be close to her. So that would be my first move. My first move to a job would be to Tokay High School. And I was there from 1989, Loma Prieta earthquake, if you remember that. Yeah, that hit Lodi too. And my first day on that job was July 3rd. I know it sounds weird, but they went into a year-round school, and July 3rd is when we started. So then we had July 4th, and anyway. But we were there for 5 years. We took a band of about 50 kids and got it to over 120, and Diana started learning how to do color guard, and we became a good team, still are a good team. We got married March 30th, 1991. We had our son, PJ, April the 18th, 1994. Took the band to Portland Rose Festival Parade, came back, best out-of-state champions. Yeah, think about that. That was when I was 28 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is like my career. Oh, and I had wanted to be a teacher since I was 16 years old, which would actually only have been 8 years ago from the time that now I'm 24. We're winning best out of state at Portland. And Mr. Avila, my high school band director, he died of a heart attack when I was 16 years old. And I made a commitment to Mr. Avila that I would be a high school band director, and that was when I was 16. He went to the University of Pacific, and then I said, well, I better go to the University of Pacific, and I did. So anyway, graduated in 1988, and now let's fast forward to 1994, when the Portland Rose Festival Parade, outstanding out-of-state band, and that was just amazing. That was cool. And then about 3 o'clock in the morning, we get back to Tokyo High School, and all of a sudden, where the F is Mr. Everts? Where the F is Mr. Everts? 3 o'clock in the morning. This dad was mad at me because, well, his daughter was having issues, and his wife and I got into an altercation in the hotel because I said, look, I can't let you go because your daughter's got to stay with us. And went back and forth, and we fought, and finally a good parent named Linda got in the middle and said, okay, hey, just let her go. We'll take care of it when we go home, okay? But because I thought, hey, she's my responsibility. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get in trouble. And that dad and he had a gun in the back of his car. I don't think he would have used the gun, but he was mad. And that was the first time I really felt scared for my life. And not totally, because if you read my book, you'll also see that I was threatened by a parent third week of my career. It goes into details of that. But I'm jumping around, so I apologize. Anyway, I decided to leave that job, and I apply for the York School, which is a beautiful school in Monterey, and that's where I grew up. I graduated from Carmel High School in 1984, and I thought, 10 years later, let's go home. I want to go home. So Diana agreed. God bless Diana. Diana agreed, so we sold our house, moved down to Monterey, lived in a little fisherman's house, and had grass growing through the floor. It was that old of a house. And so anyway, we moved to Marina, and that was an interesting school. There was about 212 kids at the time, had 136 in the music program. The first year I was there, the person I was following's daughter was a senior in the high school, and she was a great singer, and that was really tension-filled, having the former music teacher's daughter in the choir. But anyway, we all lived through it, and that was 3 years there. But the reason I left there was I was asked to do the benediction for one of the chapel services, and I didn't have any coaching, so I didn't know what they were asking for, and I closed the benediction with, "In Jesus Christ's name, Amen." And as the students are leaving, the headmaster pulled me aside and first of all gave me a nice compliment. Said, "That was a beautiful benediction. I appreciate you doing that. Next time, though, please close with, in his most holy name, because we don't want to insult people. Not everybody here is Christian." I know it sounds weird, Paul, but just trust me. Next time, please don't say Jesus Christ. Well, literally, thank God, I got a phone call from one of my groomsmen who I worked with at Tokyo High School, Richard, and Richard said, "Hey, Paul, I'm at a new high school up here in Sacramento called Granite Bay High School." So I applied for that job, got that job. That means I'm 31 years old. 1997, taught there for 8 years. And this is all in my book, conductingmylife.com, so I don't want to go over details. Just buy the book and enjoy it. So that job was really cool. Took a band of 39 kids. Next year, 71 kids. The next year, 105 kids. So Diana had just 25, 40 girls in color guard. It was great. I loved Granite Bay. Yeah, we had some challenging parents there, but the football team was winning section championships. We were a young faculty. The school was brand new. I started to work on my master's, and with 1 semester to go, I just said, I don't want to spend any more time away from home. But so I gave up the master's. And then what happens is that the 8th year we were there, we had an infamous mom, brand new to the school, brand new to me, and I don't use her real name because I don't want her to sue us. But anyway, First Monday night rehearsal, we get done. It's 9 o'clock at night. I rehearse from 6 to 9 on Monday nights. Egads. And all of a sudden I hear this lady, "It's about time you're done." And I turn around and I know who she was. I still remember wearing my Oakland Raiders jersey, because it was the Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders jersey at this rehearsal. And she's walking down, "You're late! You're late!" And I don't even know who this lady is. And she keeps yelling at me. And all the kids are looking at her. Who is this lady? And she comes right up to me. And we're about arm distance away from each other. And she starts yelling at me. And I yelling back at her. And we're going back and forth. And my good friend at the time, Jeff steps in. He's got his suit and tie on because he's the Sac State marching band director. He's got his suit and tie on, puts his arm around me. He says, "I think we're done, Mr. Everts. We're done." And then the next day, this crazy lady is at the school, and I sent my student teacher out to go work with the band, Tim, and Tim gets to work with the band by himself. So then I come out, and she's all, "Excuse me, you're late." And I just said, "Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, you don't have permission to be here. If you don't get off this campus, I'm calling the Placer County Sheriff." "No, you're not." I said, "Yeah, watch me." So I walked away, and then she left. So this goes on. This harassment goes on. Friday night in October. So this is October 2007. No, what was it? No, 2004. I'm sorry, 2004. She's standing outside the band room door handing out flyers. "Fire Mr. Everts. If you want Mr. Everts fired, call 555-1212. And I told the prince at 10:30 at night. I called the principal on his phone. He said, "What is that so-and-so's phone number?" "No, I don't want it. I'll be at your rehearsal tomorrow morning." And then he came to rehearsal, and he tells the kids all these things, and he goes, "You know who your band director is? It's not Mr. Everts, it's me. If you have a problem, Mr. Everts, you come see me." And then the kids all applauded, and he left. Well, needless to say, I just thought, God, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And because one of the things that happened that some people know, that there wasn't enough support to equal her abuse. And so I just said, I'm done. There's no interest. Then I went to Galt for 3 years, and I'll let that go again, get the book. Dublin for 9 years, and boy, that was an extremely interesting and really good time. It's where our son and daughter both graduated from Dublin High School. PJ played in the band in football. Katie played in the band and ran track, and that was really a wonderful time. Had one of the most special middle school band directors I've worked with, Eric, and we took a band, again, about 24 kids, and in 4 years we had enough students in the music program to have 2 music teachers in 4 years. Took the band to Carnegie Hall, to Chicago Symphony Hall, and in 2016 we went to Bray, Ireland, and it was just a wonderful time. Yes, there was some parents, but by the end of that, I just again went, okay, I did all I could, and Diane and we moved again, went to school in Placer County, and that's where things came to an end. April of 2021, I met with the principal who had known me from my Granite Bay days, and he's a good guy. Still care about him a lot. He asks about how I'm doing, but in April of 2021, he told me that I needed to leave Jesus Christ in the parking lot. And I said to him, "Did you tell all the gay teachers and those who support gay teachers to take down their pride flag?" And he said, "No, Paul, it's different." I said, "No, it's not. That's what they are. They get to show who they are." "Yeah, but that's not religion." "Well, no, you and I are going to disagree. Did you tell all the Black Lives Matter supporting people to take down their banners from the classroom walls?" "Again, Paul, that is different." "No, that's their religion. That's their religion. So why can't I sit there and, so obviously that didn't work." And either before or after that, I had a student come up to me and say he didn't know anything had happened. The student just a totally different thing. So I'm in my office. He knocks on my door, and he goes, "Mr. Harris, can I ask you a question?" He comes in, and he shuts the door, and he goes, "Can I ask you to pray for me?" And I said to the student, high school senior, I said, "Oh man, seriously, dude, I can't. Is there any other Christian teachers you can ask to pray for you? Because right now I've been told not to talk about God. There's no other Christian teachers. You're the only Christian teacher I know on this campus." I said, "Okay, well, before I pray for you, do you know any gay teachers on the campus? I just want to know, do you know any gay teachers? Oh, I know all the gay. And he stopped. Yeah, I do know all the gay teachers, Mr. Everett, but you don't know any Christian teachers. He said, no, you're the only Christian teacher I know. I said, okay. I think point made. Let's pray. And I prayed for him. So October of 2021, same person said to me, Paul, you can't tell students you love them anymore. It's weird. You're a man. You got gray hair. You're old. You don't tell kids I love you. So that's unprofessional. And then he said, I don't care about your First Amendment rights. You can't use social media because you're posting things that are hurting kids' feelings and you're embarrassing yourselves, the principal, the school, and the district. So I'm going to tell you to get off social media. Fast forward to October 15th, 2021, and sure enough, it's like a meeting with the assistant superintendent, and he tells me everything again, and he goes, do you have anything to say? And I said, yeah, I do. And I asked the union, I said, are you taking notes? And the union said, yes, I am. I said, okay, good. And I looked at the assistant superintendent, and I said, I love God. Assistant superintendent nodded his head up and down. Did you take that note? And, yep, took the note. I said, good. And then I said, I love my wife, Diana. Did you take that note? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then I said, I resign. No, Paul, you can't resign. I said, no, I'm resigning. Your system's broken. And then I went on from there. January 8th. So then my last job at that school was December 23rd, 2021. And then I met with this lovely couple and who have a beautiful charter school. And I won't name the charter school because I don't want to get in trouble. The charter school doesn't have anything to do with this. But point being is that they have allowed me and my wife, now going on 4 years, to be doing what we love since 1989. And that is to teach young people instruments and to teach them life skills with their instruments. And I just, I said, what the heck? So I wanted to share that with you because I haven't really had a chance to do that. And I want to make sure that you also know, too, that I believe in Jesus Christ. And I'm going to read my favorite story. It's called The Ragman. Let me just read this to you, and this will be the last thing. I'm going to probably go over, sorry, we're going to probably go 21 minutes. But here we go. I saw a strange sight. I stumbled upon a story most strange, like nothing in my life. My street sense, my sly tongue had ever prepared me for. Hush now, and I will tell you the story. Even before dawn one Friday morning, I noticed a man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. This handsome young man was pulling an old cart filled with clothes, bright and new. And he was calling in a clear tenor voice, "Rags! New rags for old! I take your old, dirty, and tired rags! Rags!" Now this is a wonder, I thought. For the man stood 6'4", and his arms were like tree limbs, hard and muscular. His eyes flashed love and wonderment. Could this man find no better job than this, to be a ragman in the inner city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I was not disappointed, for what I was about to see was miraculous. Soon the ragman saw a woman sitting on her back porch. The woman was sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Her knees and elbows, they made a sad X. Her shoulders, they shook. Her heart was breaking. The ragman stopped his cart. Quietly, he walked to the woman, stepping round tin cans, dead toys, and baby diapers. He said gently, "Give me your rag, and I will give you another." He slipped the handkerchief from her eyes. She looked up, and he laid across her palm a linen cloth, so clean and new that it shined. She blinked from the gift to the giver. Then, as he began to pull his cart again, the ragman did a strange thing. He put her stained handkerchief to his own face, and he began to weep, to sob as grievously as she had done. His shoulders were shaking vigorously, yet she was left without a tear. This is a wonder, I said to myself, and I followed the sobbing Ragman like a child who cannot turn away from a mystery. Rags, rags, new rags for old. In a little while, when the sky showed gray behind the rooftops and I could see the shredded curtains hanging out black windows, the Ragman came upon a girl whose head was wrapped in a bandage, whose eyes were empty. Blood soaked her bandage. A single line of blood ran down her cheek. Now the Ragman, full of compassion, looked upon his child with pity as he drew a lovely yellow bonnet from his cart. Give me your rag, and I'll give you mine, he said, tracing his own line on her cheek. The child could only gaze at him while he loosened the bandage, removed it, and tied it to his own head while placing the bonnet upon her. I gasped at what I saw, for with the bandage went the wound. Against his brow it ran a darker, more substantial blood, his own. Rags, rags, I take old rags, cried the sobbing, bleeding, strong man. The sun hurt both the sky now and my eyes. The Ragman seemed more and more in a hurry. He asked a man who leaned against a telephone pole, Are you going to work? The man shook his head. The Ragman pressed him. Do you have a job? Are you crazy? Sneered the man. He pulled away from the pole, revealing the right sleeve of his jacket, flat, the cuff stuffed into his pocket. This man had no arm. The Ragman said, So, give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine. The one-armed man took off his jacket, as did the Ragman. I trembled at what I was now seeing. The Ragman's arm stayed in its sleeve, and when the other put the Ragman's jacket on, he now had 2 good arms, thick as tree limbs. Go to work, said the now one-armed Ragman. Stumbling upon a drunk, the Ragman found lying unconscious beneath an army blanket an old man hunched in a fetal position. He took the blanket and wrapped it around himself, but the drunk he left new clothes. And now I had to run to keep up with the Ragman, though he was weeping uncontrollably and bleeding freely at the forehead, pulling his cart with one arm, stumbling for drunkenness, falling again and again, exhausted, looking older and sick. Yet he moved with a steady pace. He eventually came to the city limits, and then he rushed beyond. I wept to see the change in this man. I hurt to see his sorrow, and yet I needed to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him onward. The Ragman came to a landfill, the garbage pits, if you will. I wanted to help the Ragman in what he was attempting to do, but I hung back, hiding. The Ragman climbed a hill. With tormented labor, he cleared a little space on the hill. Then the Ragman laid down, pillowed his head on a handkerchief and a jacket. He covered his bones with an army blanket, and then the Ragman died. How I cried to witness that death. I slumped over and wailed as one who has no hope. I had come to admire the Ragman. I sobbed myself to sleep. I did not know. How could I know? I slept through Friday night and Saturday night too. But then, on Sunday morning, I was awakened by a violently supernatural bright light. Light, pure, bright, demanding light slammed against my face. I blinked, and I looked, and I saw the Ragman folding his blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive. There was no sign of sorrow or age, and all the rags he had gathered shined, cleansed, and bright. I walked up to the ragman. I told him my name. I felt compelled to remove my clothes. I said to him with longing in my voice, "Dress me." He dressed me, my Lord. He put new rags on me. And I am a wonder beside him, the ragman, the Christ. Thank you so much for the last 6 years of listening to my podcast. I'm going to take some time off and reflect. Diana and I we made some choices, and I want to save some money so I can take Diana out to dinner. I want to save some money so we can get to a doctor's appointment, not worry about it. And this costs us money to do, and it's been fun. I've done interviews. I've had good things said to me and horrific things said to me. And I would encourage anybody to start a podcast and enjoy it and just get ready, because you can say the sky is blue and someone's going to argue with you. So with that being said, I'm going to say one more time, He dressed me, my Lord, put new rags on me, and I am a wonder beside my Lord, the ragman, Jesus Christ. Be better today than you were yesterday. And to all my students and scholars, past, present, and hopefully future, to those who are my supporters and detractors, thanks. I couldn't make music without you. And to all the people who walked away from me, I'm still here waiting for you. And I apologize to anybody that I might have hurt their feelings. I didn't wake up with that to be a goal. And I'll just leave it at that. All right, guys. I'm sorry it went on so long. And before I say goodbye, I really need to thank and say how much I love you, Diana, my beautiful wife, and our handsome son, PJ, our equally beautiful daughter, Katie. Of course, I want to say thank you to our beautiful daughter-in-law, Ashley, and thank her for being a great daughter-in-law and a mother to soon-to-be 4 children. And then I'm excited to see what Daniel, the paramedic's going to do now that they have gotten to go back to Colorado. Katie and Daniel got married in April. So they are newlyweds. Life's good, man. When you got a wife who loves you, children, in-laws, grandchildren, those are the roses amongst the thorns, right? And then, of course, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ being number one. And Diana knows that, so I can say that. But because of Jesus Christ, I have everything else I just said. Now, goodbye.